The National Resistance Movement Parliamentary Caucus is scheduled to hold a special sitting this Friday at State House, Entebbe. Key on the agenda of the special meeting concerned deliberations on the amendment of the UPDF Act. It will be noted that parliamentarians did agree in a previous parliamentary caucus to have the already tabled UPDF Act Amendment Bill withdrawn. The bill before Parliament sought to establish the Special Forces Command and the Reserve Force as fully fledged separate services of the UPDF. The government has yet to formally have the UPDF Amendment Bill withdrawn. This step is geared to pave the way for additional amendments to the UPDF Act, touching on how to re-establish the General Court-Martial with the powers to carry out trial of cases with custodial sentences. Military courts were stripped by a landmark judgment issued by the Supreme Court of the powers to try civilians or even military personnel in cases involving custodial sentences. This was out of an appeal filed by the Attorney General challenging the decision of the Constitutional Court, which upheld an application by the former Nakawa Member of Parliament, Michael Kabezuguka, that was wrong for military courts to try civilians. However, President Museveni has, since the Supreme Court issued the decision, defended the necessity of the military courts, arguing that they must continue to carry out trials, arguably to guarantee the prevailing peace and security.
We may not talk about the details now because it is only the Attorney General Chambers and the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs that have the draft. And that particular draft, which are proposals, will be tabled in the caucus.
Though it is not clear at the moment how the military courts will be reshaped through the likely amendments, thankfully the court gave out some guidance. This includes making the military courts, through the amendment of the UPDF Act, a division of the High Court, constitute the High Court as a court-martial to try all offences, grant Chief Justice powers to assign judges to court-martial, have civilians with the legal qualifications appointed to the military courts, amend the UPDF Act to provide for the trial of civilians with justification for recourse, and amend provisions in the UPDF Act to create appeals in civilian courts. It awaits to see which way the government takes and the speed at which it will take, aware that lawyers and the members of the public contend as wrongful the continued detention of those whose cases were before the impugned military courts. I'm Jackson Onyango, reporting for NTV.